Excuse me, the Flash Wolves did a really good job. I don't know if it's the ping, but they all had their items ready to go, and we got the trinkets coming out. Everybody's picking up totems for the Flash Wolves. On the other side, there is one scrying orb, and that's going to be on Udiprone. Take it away.
Summoner's Rift.
All right, so I instinctually, when I was arranging the champions, put Lulu in the bottom lane. I'm like, wait, where does Karma go? Because I'm actually more familiar with seeing mid lane Karma than I am with mid lane Lulu. It was a thing for a time, but then its time kind of passed. So now with that, I'm really interested to see Karma back in that support role. I think support Karma is really undervalued, and I don't think enough people play it. So it's nice to see Sword Art kind of hopping on the Karma train and seeing how many upvotes it can get for that bottom lane performance this game.
All right, so it doesn't look like anything fishy's going down here at level 1. Everybody kind of just standing around in their jungle as we do get the minions getting ready to spawn in here. I wouldn't expect to see anything at level 1, maybe with these team comps. I think they're just going to try and play it straight to the belt as soon as we do get everyone into lane. It is interesting to note you see Vayne and Annie looking like they will probably be in that top lane, but Karma up there as well.
The interesting thing for me, well, a couple of things. One, you see a scrying orb start for Udiproid, so he decided to pick up a little bit of an interesting trinket, and is probably going to use that to get long-range scouts off on buff timings, just to see if he can, you know, snipe out exactly where the jungler is in the jungle, because it's not actually the most useful trinket. It has a very long cooldown, so if you use it, you better be sure you know where you're going to use it. Only gives 1 second of vision, but we are actually going to see 2 lane swaps, so a nice guess there. It's going to be dual lanes up top.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. I think they recognized that Udiproid and Annie were going to be up there in the top lane, and they sent Jinx up there right away.
Alright, so Nico is going to get those 625 range auto attacks off in the top lane. Very, very long range. And this is why Annie support's so good with the late game hyper carry, because while the carry may not be all that great early on, there's a lot of strength there with Annie to protect her and keep her safe.
So, and we actually saw a couple wards coming out of the Flash Wolves. Pings went down earlier, and they did get a ward both in the top and bottom lanes. The bottom lane has expired. And take us, what is going on up in the top lane?
No, man, Nico is taking out so much damage. Does have some potions to use to get that health back, but just a ton of harass coming out here. And you can tell that Udiproid having a little bit of a rough time. 2 to 8 in CS, but mid lane is actually going a little bit better there for Detonation. But oh, Nico's got to be careful.
So, and we actually see Karma's coming up with that Doran shield. Oh!
Sid Machine over the wall there is going to get tethered up there, but look at Sword Art, very, very low. Sid Machine's going to go ahead and step on those Flame Stompers, gets ignited, safeguards himself back away, and in this 2v3, there's a dual lane there from, oh no, it's going to be Refrain over the wall. There's the Cocoon, lands it, Refrain, perfect timing there with the gank. Top lane, first blood goes to Yoe Flash Wolves.
So that was just a really good job of Refrain trying to react to that gank, and we still have a lot of action in this top lane.
Oh yeah, action bottom lane as well as Guerrera and Stake both going at it. That's probably a little bit less exciting because they're just going to beat on each other, but mid lane, it's actually the first recall of the game, forced out their Ceros, forced out of
and
lane.
And here's Refrain back in that top lane.
Try to go underneath the turret, and Nico will go down. There's turret aggro drop. Udiproid very, very low. Gets the flash in there, and he's going to pick up a kill. Gets the control under the turret, and somehow, in a 1v3, Udiproid takes a kill for himself.
That could have gone very poorly for the Flash Wolves. Karma Sword Art doing such a good job of getting out of that tower aggro range, and Elise was able to use her repel to get rid of it as well. Wow. Good job to pick up 1 kill up there, but it ends up being 1 for 1. They trade kills up in the top lane.
And that's the situation where you really want the barrier summoner spell instead of that cleanse. There wasn't a whole lot to cleanse there, but a barrier would have kept Eudeproid alive, maybe allowed him to capitalize on getting that nice condemn into the turret at the very end. So it's not, it's a weakness that he has now, but it will be a strength later on in the game once having that cleanse becomes so much more valuable.
Yeah, and we'll see how that choice works out, because you were talking about this earlier. That using... Oh, sorry, go ahead. We got a message.
No, I
can't
was
see
just going to say, like, there's not that much, like, individual action happening, but top lane is always going to be somewhere to keep your eyes on. Eudeproid tumble backwards. Still a ton of aggression there. You're going to see Sid Machine forced to camp that top lane very, very hard.
Right. And so we can actually see with that early kill, Jinx comes back in the lane. She does have a Vamp Scepter already, and actually in the bot lane, there's a lot of damage coming up from both of these champions.
I think Guerrero actually wins that trade, but Sid Machine going up against Sword Art there, it's jungler versus support, and to be honest, I think Sword Art's actually a little stronger right now. Doran's shield and that's ancient coin coming down as well, and there's and Nico taking some damage, but Sid Machine won't connect there with that Sonic Wave.
All right, and there's a lot of action again in this top lane. Lee Sin up there just
bottom though. Cocoon's gonna land. Guerrero just going down there. Nice cocoon, and that's just something that Refrain has been good at all game long so far. I think he's 3 for 3 landing cocoons. So we talked about that during picks and bans. They just gave Stake Shyvana, and they gave Refrain his Elise, and both of those champions just really coming out big here for the Yoe Flash Wolves.
Yeah, so this is something I talked about a little bit. We did see Lulu on Maple, but Refrain on this Elise is another reason they were able to pick up that Dell Invitational at the end of December, and he is absolutely showing it. There's actually a Dragon started. You can see mids rotating down for that as well.
Yeah, Stake is level 6, so he can ult if he needs to, but just going to get a lot of extra power from there. An attempt to steal it by Sid Machine, but he just wasn't there in time. That is a 7-minute dragon taken for Yoe Flash Wolves. And Nico just now level 4 and very low. You can see that top turret dropping low as well.
So the Flash Wolves doing a really good job there, recognizing after picking up that kill on Gorilla, he was going to have to get back in the lane, and the rotations down into that Dragon Pit, and they were able to pick that up basically for free. There was a last-ditch effort from Sid Machine to take it with his Q, but he was not there in time at all, and the push continues here in the top lane.
They are going to try for the condemn. There's going to be the cleanse there from Eudeproid, but it just wasn't in time. Once again, I mean, that barrier skill would have really helped him out there, but just didn't have it. And now top turret actually could go down here. Minion wave won't be there for very long. So yeah, it's not going to go down just yet. Yeah, top lane, the dual lane, not really working out for Detonation. And like we said, Detonation live off of their carries. Side lane's great and everything, but Rengar is going to be that big tank that sets up for the damage that Saros and Eudeproid have. With Eudeproid having a rough early game, it's just going to be how hard can that Xerath carry.
Right, and so far there's not a lot going on in the mid lane. The farm is pretty even at 52 for Lulu, 45 for Xerath. Xerath has already picked out the double Dorans as well as the Null Magic Mantle to try and keep some of the damage down from Lulu. Lulu has actually not gone back yet to pick up after she's gone back once and picked up a ring as well as a flask. But at the moment she is sitting on 1,300 gold. We'll have to see what she uses that for once she does get a chance to finally get back to base.
Yeah, and Lulu itemization is actually really weird. You want to go for a lot of magic penetration, but you also want a lot of attack speed because of the way Pix works. If you get magic pen, that helps Pix deal more damage. If you get levels, Pix does more damage too. And so it's just based around getting those huge, highly damaging auto attacks off. And you can see even a little bit of counter jungling here as Stake and Refrain will take away the Wraith camp, and Refrain just kind of living in this bottom jungle, has that red buff all warded up, and we'll have to see if Sid Machine can claim at least some of his jungle. As now Refrain may be looking for a gank down bottom onto Guerrera.
Yeah, and you mentioned buffet or warding that red buff. It's not just the red buff. You can look at the ward coverage that the Flash Wolves have in Detonation FM's lower jungle, and they are going to know absolutely where Lee Sin is at all times if he's anywhere close by. And here we go in the bot lane.
Oh, Guerrera has his ultimate, but he's not going to be able to stealth in time. Has a lot of tankiness, but there's Jinx getting excited, and NL going to get all the way out of there. 0-6 so far, and there's the Xerath ult in the mid lane trying to put some damage on a Maple, but Maple's just very, very mobile, has that shield as well, and won't be feeling too much pain there, but a nice push there. Sid Machine trying to put some pressure on this middle turret.
All right, and so that is actually going to be the second turret of the game for the Flash Wolves. Everything is going their way so far. This is exactly how they play the game. They've got their comfort picks. They're playing their style of game. And right now, Detonation FM just does not look comfortable. There's something going down in the jungle here.
Yeah, Sid Machine's going to be forced to Dragon's Rage that Refrain at least away. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do when you're behind. You need your help from your lanes, but when the lanes are as weak as they are, it's there's not a lot of help for anyone.
And there's the third turret going down in the bot lane.
Yeah, 3 turrets already. It's the 10-minute mark, and while Udiproid and Aneko are able to get a little bit of damage on the top turret, Shyvana has so much wave clear. Actually went offensive there with the Billswater Cutlass instead of speccing into that Sunfire cape like you'd expect.
Yeah, and so she's just using the 2 levels she already has on Vayne and that Dorn shield.
Oh, Guerrera.
Oh boy, we are getting a lot in the bot. Wow.
Wow, yeah, there's just action all over the place. That bottom lane, everywhere this dual lane goes, I think that's NL and Sword Art have been responsible for all of the turrets so far. Maple's going to be forced to ult himself. We're looking for one more spell cooldown there, but Maple's actually got the damage advantage here. Saros might turn around and try to pick up this kill, but it's actually the long-range glitter lands. Maple able to take out Saros in the mid lane.
So there you have it. That's what happens when a Lulu fights a Xerath, and it comes down to cooldown rotations, and Xerath just did not have one more in him.
Yeah, that is a little bit rough to see, but there's actually a 1v2 there. Snake's trying to go in there. First kill, though, it's going to be... Yeah, there is the kill. Udiproid will go ahead and pick that one up now. Aneko, oh, Sword Art comes right around the corner and now actually could find a kill on the Udiproid. There's the Condemn away and a little bit of damage. The acceleration, there's the lesion. It's the long-range zap from NL. Pick up the 10th kill of the game there for the Yoe Flash Wolves.
And so one thing, we did see the Detonation FM pick up a kill there. Unfortunately, it actually ended up going on to Annie. So Vayne was there. I don't know if that was... What does Annie have? Did the Ignite go down there? Yeah, it looks like that might have been the Ignite that ticked off. And
now Sid Machine's trying to help out Saros, but it may not be enough. There's the cleanse away from the cocoon. Now he's going to drop a lot of damage, but Saros very, very low health. You can see Maple just dodging absolutely everything. Now Saros might die. No, a nice stun on a Maple. Oh my goodness, this is really intense. Guerrero's going to come in. He's stealth. He's got the Thrill-a-thon. Going to jump in there on a Maple. A lot of damage, but there's a cocoon there. Perfect cocoon once again from Refrain. He's just landing every single one of those. And once again, Detonation forced to retreat.
Boy, and this is just a case time and time again. Refrain knows where to be, counters the gank coming in the mid lane, and they're going to push in onto this turret.
There's 3 champions there for Detonation FM, so they are going to be able to wave clear that, but just look at all the wards there around the turret.
Wow, that was a bit of a misplay, I think, by Saros there. He actually went into his locus of power there as the Karma Q came across for the second hit and took him down, and this is going to be another turret for the Flash Wolves.
Bottom lane, Steak has already pushed it all the way up there. Guerrero's going to try to sustain off of this, but Steak is just way too tanky right now. Kills him underneath the turret, gets ignited there. He's burning down there, but Sid Machine's going to connect, and there it is. The second kill of the game for Detonation, able to capitalize on a kill on Steak.
All right, so yes, this is maybe not looking so good for Detonation FM right now, but it's always good to see how a team does in defeat as well. And it's not over yet, but Refrain is making sure his team stays on top. Flash Wolves are a team that they really like to take advantage, and they don't want to play this game out. They just want to finish it as soon as they can, and that's exactly how they're playing. Wow.
And yeah, Refrain was able to get in there, set up perfectly for the Super Mega Death Rocket over the wall, but there's Sid Machine grabbing another kill. Top lane Udiproid in a 1v2. We'll have to see what he can do against Maple. The answer is probably not a whole lot, but hey, made a valiant effort of it. And did wind up going down, but still a couple of kills coming out here. It's nice to see at least a little bit of potential, and now it's Sid Machine, though. Try to 1v1 that red buff. He's going to take it out, so a little bit of a moral victory there.
Yeah, so actually 2 of the 3 kills for Detonation FM coming on the Sid Machine, and both of those have actually been kind of clean-up jobs. The rest of his team doing enough damage to take the enemy low before dying, and he comes in with the Q for the finishing blow. You'd like to see a little bit more, but this is a best-of-3 series, so there will be more League of Legends after this. Currently it's, 15 minutes. We're looking at 9,000 gold lead. Steak's doing his best to make that closer to 10,000 in total, and there it is, another dragon.
Yeah, still not quite 10,000, but still an incredible advantage for the Yoe Flash Wolves. You can see a lot of coordination. I actually want to talk a little bit about Taiwanese esports and how they differ from a lot of other metas. For Japan, a lot of the players actually sort of started playing League of Legends on the North American servers. So to some extent, kind of like the Australian meta, it's kind of like North America light. You know, they take a lot of the same strategies, they try to execute them, but it doesn't really work out when you're trying to play on like 200, 300 ping on the North American servers. So it's going to be interesting for me. Oh, there's a dive from Steak around the corner, or over the wall rather. Sarah's going to get locked up, knocked up, taken out. There's going to be a huge, giant growth there. Steak just a huge dragon. Going to get way underneath there. And L just killing absolutely everyone. Goes godlike as he takes down a Nico. That's going to be the first inhibitor of the game, going to the Yoe Flash Wolves.
So, and you can actually see there that giant dragon, all it took was a giant's belt and a Lulu ultimate, and took all of the damage for the Flash Wolves there. They're going to take that turret as Sid Machine comes in.
No, Sid Machine got in there, but didn't even have time to pick off anybody. NL, Sword Art, Steak, they're all pretty low there. Guerrero wants to jump in there, but he can't find anyone to engage on. There's a pink ward drop down to try to stop him from engaging. There's going to be Steros with a lot of damage. Their Refrain almost going to go down there. Steak almost going into a long-range snipe there from Steros to finally take out Refrain. So Refrain is going to, refrain from being in that base, and I think Refrain got a couple of kills, or a couple of deaths, and I think NL has one, and of course Steak has made a couple of mistakes in his column, but at the same time, that's going to be the last auto attack, and the giant growth at the very end. The Yoe Flash Wolves, 21-4, take a very convincing win over Detonation.
All right, so folks, you wanted a game, you got a game. There it was, finished in about 17 minutes. That victory is going to go over to the Yoe Flash Wolves. Congratulations to a very convincing win. But please, please, please stick around, because there is, I was going to say more where that came from, but hopefully we see something a little different here in Game 2.
Right, so you guys definitely know, like, it's a very